day with this? What did you learn today? Tell me what you learned.
Not to be monotone.
Sorry?
Not to be monotone.
Not to be monotone. Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. Let's do that again. What'd you learn?
Not to be monotone.
All right. Good job. Good. All right. What else did we learn?
Have a conversation.
So, sorry?
Have conversation.
Have a conversation.
Rather than just reading from a script.
Okay, good. So have a conversation. Don't just read it.
Go directly to the motivation.
Look for the motivation. It's the key in everything we do. In fact, if you'll notice, anytime we have a conversation, I'm always going to be asking you, when you tell me, oh, the client this and the client this, and when the client this and the client, I'm always going to ask someplace in that conversation, what's the motivation of the client? Where are they moving to? What's going on? If you don't know, it's really hard to move the conversation forward with anyone you're working with. That make sense?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, good job. All right, what else? What else did we learn?
Be interested.
Be interested. Okay, because when you're interested and you care about them, then they're going to tend to care about you. Great point. Okay, what else?
Notice that the first 20 minutes that you said, Mark, how you feel right now, and then after a few times, confidence.
The confidence started to build. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. So I asked you 20, 30 minutes ago to mark and note where you were and how you felt about yourself, the script, etc. And then we've gone about 30 minutes further. You've had 2 or 3 or 4 times to review this and go through it. Was there a difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what was the difference? What did you sense? What did you feel?
More internalized.
A little more internalized. Good. What else?
Really wanted to know.
You really wanted to know. Now, when you really wanted to know, and that started to come across, did you get a better response from the role play partner?
Delivery, like I felt what I was saying.
You felt it. Okay. And when you felt it, the client felt it?
I felt better about it.
Good. Good, good, good. All right. What else?
If you know what to say next, it's easier for you to listen.
Ah,
You're not thinking-
whoa, there's a concept. Good job. So if you're not worried about what to say next, then you can listen to the client, internalize the answer, and then wherever that goes, have a conversation with the client. Perfect. Great. Okay, what else?
I feel like if you stay on the script, because coming off the script sometimes will get you in trouble, and if you stay on the script, it'll keep you aligned with the conversation.
Definitely keep you aligned and get you from point A to point B. Good thought. Go ahead.
One thing that I felt when I was role-playing with Drew, just speaking with a little bit more conviction when you're doing these scripts, it just kind of helps you know that what you're saying is getting through their heads and you're expecting them to react a certain way.
And when you have that expectation, they tend to respond to it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, good. All right, think about this for a second. All right? When we started this, we're working on the expired script. I started by saying there are basically 3 objections. We're decided not to sell. This is for an expired. We've decided not to sell. We've decided to list with the same agent. Or we've decided to list with another agent and we're going to be signing with them. It's basically the 3 objections. And today we were working on one objection, and that is we've decided not to sell. And when you learn the motivation of the client, then you can start working with the client and move them along. Okay? So I want to ask you a question. So we were working on this for 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes, at a fairly high level. Let's start this way. How many times, if you talk to or you make contact with expireds on a daily basis, 5 days a week, how many times a day will you come up with this objection of we've decided not to sell? How many times does that happen in a daily?
4 or 5 times. Yeah.
So if you make how many contacts?
About 40.
So if you make 40 expired contacts?
No, about 15 or 20.
So 15 or 20 expired contacts, you'll see this objection, you'll hear this objection 3 or 4 times. Okay? Something different? That sound right? A little more, a little less? Talk to me. Okay? More? Less? You guys asleep? It's after lunch.
It's about right.
It's about right? So, okay. So, if we get this objection, let's make it easy, 3 times a day, 4 times a week. You call expireds 4 times a week, however many expireds you talk to, but you get this objection 3 times. You with me? So at the end of the week, you've talked to 12 people with that objection. You've had that objection thrown at you 12 different times at the end of the week. So now, throw me a pen, somebody, please. Thank you. So now, let's assume, just for the sake of this conversation, that we work 40 weeks out of the year. Now, there's 52 weeks. I'm giving you 12 weeks off right off the top. All right?
Thank you.
Right off the top. You're welcome. So that is 480 times in the next 12 months, or 40 weeks in the next 12 months, that you're going to run into that objection. Everybody with me right now?
Yes.
Okay. If you were to be able to handle that objection at a really high level, like you knew what to say and how to say it, I'm going to ask it to you a couple of different ways. How long would it take you in terms of hours of practice, role play, writing the script out, to learn this at a really, really high level, this particular script, so you could dance with it, work with it, and ask the clients lots of different questions, be conversational, be energetic, be interested? How many hours would that
5
take?
hours.
You do it in 5 hours, okay? Do I hear 6? Okay? You could do more, less? More. About how many?
7 hours.
7 hours, okay? You guys can learn this script in 7 hours and know it cold, right?
Yes.
Everybody with me on this? Okay, so if I said to you, it could take you 20 hours to learn it cold, there isn't anyone here that wouldn't be able to do that, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we said 7. I'm saying 20. With me? To know it at a really high level. Now, if you knew it at a really high level with 20 hours of preparation and just really blasting this thing, and you had 480 opportunities, how many times that you had those 480 opportunities do you think you could convert that into a listing appointment?
At least 50%?
50%, so that's 240.
25%.
25%, so that's less than that. 125. How many? 10% is 48. 5% is 24. Let's use 5%. We've heard 50%, we've heard 25%, we've heard 10%. Let's use 5%. It's a low, low number. Doesn't seem worth it, does it? Work with me now. 5% is 24 listing appointments. How many listing appointments do you think you could turn into saleable listings if you had 24 appointments?
50%.
12 to 18, okay? So let's use 15. Everybody with me? So we're going to get 15 transactions out of this 480 people who said we've decided not to sell because you've learned this script at a really high level. So 15 deals at $10,000 gross per deal is $150,000 gross. And we put 20 hours in, 20 hours, in order to learn this at a really high level. We said 7. Said we could do it in 7. I said 20. All right? So 20 hours divided into 150,000 is how much?
About 70.
So how about $7,500 an hour? Does that sound right? I haven't done the quick math on it.
Yep.
Okay? $6,000 to $8,000 an hour to learn the script. Just to learn it at a really high level. So those of you that are saying, I don't have time, it's not worth it, I don't need to do it, I don't need to spend time learning these scripts and dialogues because it's getting in the way of my prospecting, you're actually potentially doing work that will yield you in excess of $7,000 an hour. Think about that. So the times that you don't want to do your role play, the times you don't want to do your practice, those are the times I want you to think about the $7,000 that's flying away. That's one script. We have the other two. We'll start working on those in the next couple weeks. It's my opinion that this is the one that comes up the most. This is the one I keep coming back to the most. This is the one you should learn first at the highest level that you possibly can. Questions? So we're all going to go out and make $7,000 an hour. See, the way I see it is between now and the retreat, you could easily put in the 20 hours, learn the script and dialogue, walk into that retreat, king or queen of the expired listings in terms of the objection we've decided not to sell. You will own it.